Good morning. I'm the Reverend Judy Cooper, and on behalf of the Southern Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp Meeting Association, welcome to our Lyceum, which is our Sunday school. At this time, we have the great pleasure of hearing from one of our camp members that have been very active, and we enjoy what he always says. And I'd like to welcome Geo Louis.
I'm blushing. I don't think the cameras can see it. It's not makeup, Mom, I promise. Or maybe it is. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the introduction, Reverend Judy. This morning, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is healing, spiritual healing. For me, I actually have a personal reason why I wanted to learn more about this form of healing, and it had to do with an issue I had way back in 2001. So it's like taking you back in time. I was working at Disney, and I was very stressed out. Just the position I had me involved in many duties, activities, working with guests, and I suddenly developed some major form of tonsil issue, tonsillitis. And honestly, every time the doctor saw my tonsils, they're like, you could take those out and play golf with them. That's how inflamed they were. And I said, okay, so what do I do? He's like, we may have to remove them. I'm like, no. My grandfather always had this saying that we want to go with what we came with. And there was this interesting story. He would talk about this chicken. And this chicken apparently had some kind of growth. And the doctors would always say, you need to get that off the chicken. It's bad for him. It's going to hurt him. You've got to remove it. And my grandfather just felt, no, I really shouldn't do that. Again, the doctor said, no, you really need to have it removed. So he took his chicken in. They took it out. The chicken passed. It died. And so there's a phrase he always said, and I'm going to translate it because it was in Spanish. He said, never remove the little pip if you don't have to. So that ran in through my mind when the doctors kept saying, yeah, we may have to remove it. I don't really like surgeries and it's funny because I come from a family of doctors, but, and surgery and stuff like that. I was like, no, it's okay. I'll work with it. So they put me on antibiotics. Okay. A few weeks go by, tonsils got better. Okay, awesome. This is great. See? Don't have to take them out. A few days after that, here it comes again. And I go back to the doctor. I said, yeah, I guess the antibiotics didn't go through. They're swollen again. I can't, it's hard to swallow. All right, well, let's put you back on another dosage of antibiotics, a little higher. Okay, that worked. I didn't have to get them removed. Now, to make this long story short, this kept going for about 6 months. Every time it'd be fine, something would happen. They took me in for blood work. Nothing wrong. There was all these things they kept doing. I was in and out. They took so much blood that I was like, really? I should start charging you for every time you take a vial of blood from me. They couldn't find anything. Finally, I met with this one last time. I went to this doctor. And actually, she wasn't the doctor. She was the nurse practitioner. And she's like, so I see you've been coming in here, in and out for the last 6 months. You're going to have those removed. Ultimately, at some point, we have to stop because we can't give you any more antibiotics. It's going to destroy the good bacteria in your stomach. I'm like, look, I really don't want to. And she said, well, let me tell you this. Almost like you didn't hear this from me. If your stress is causing all of this, then whatever you're doing, just let go. Quit. Let it go. And like I said, I had a really good job. I was a media coordinator at Disney, which was fun, but it was really stressful. And it was actually getting annoying towards the end there. So I thought about it and I said, okay. And she started saying, there are other healing modalities that you might try. I'm like, what do you mean? You're the doctor. What else is there beyond you? And she said, have you thought about any kind of spiritual healing, energy healing? And I was like, I sort of grew up with psychologists and surgeons. They would probably see that as quackery. So it was interesting that this nurse guided me towards that. So I listened to her. I said, okay, fine. And I made a big decision and I quit. I left my job. I started healing. The tonsils started naturally healing. I started looking into energy, forms of energy healing, quantum, touch, pranic healing, different forms of energy and spiritual, meditation, learning how to calm down. And to this day, I still have my tonsils. They're still there. And a lot of it I attribute to that peacefulness, the spirituality, the opening up, as it were. It wasn't just, there's only this way of healing. Now, I did try. I went to the doctor, so we always say, even in spiritual healing, doctors are there for a reason. They're put on this earth to help us heal. But there comes a point where they will say to us, listen, there's nothing else we can do. You got to take matters into your own hands. And the funny thing is, this is what led me to study holistic medicine. In 2006, I was certified as a holistic health practitioner. I studied Reiki. I became a natural health consultant, relaxation. I took it all in. It was such a big change for me in my life that it sort of shifted everything. So it wasn't just, oh, I'm healed. Okay, I'm good. And that's it. It just really opened my mind. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? What is this other world I don't know about? In my family, you're either an engineer, a doctor, or a psychologist. I say I'm all that, just on the spiritual side. One of the things I like to do was learning spiritual counseling, because so much of our energy is what really affects us on a day-to-day basis. And so I was very excited that so this whole tonsil thing seemed kind of negative at first, but it was something that really changed my life. And I always look up to my grandfather when he comes through, especially here in camp, so the mediums connect with him. I am always telling him, I remember, don't take the little pip out if you don't have to. So I still got both my pips. So this started, like I said, it started me on a path of studying herbalism, relaxation therapy, and my goal also changed from just treating myself, but helping my family. Because my goodness, everybody, I mean, you know those pill boxes that you usually have a week? My family has a pill canister that fills like a week. It's like tons of pills in every kind of color. And I remember even growing up, I would look at those and thought, geez, they take a lot of candy. Because if you remember, there used to be pills, this one candy that looked like little pills. I'm like, wow, my goodness. And I said, I don't want to be like that, you know. And to this day, my grandmother, you know, bless her, she still has, you know, everything marked down. And it works for her. But I noticed that what really works for her is when I started using, and now a lot of my training, I use my family as guinea pigs. And I'm thankful for them, because when I did my first healing session, I went to my grandmother. When I did my first, it's usually my grandmother, because I always wanted to help her. Because she's my mom. She was always my mom. She helped raise me as well. And she never understood it. She never understood any of what I was doing. She always just would call and say, do that thing you do. You know, because she didn't know how to call it. You say Reiki, huh? No, just do that thing you do. And to this day, if she has a bad cough, she'll call me, hey, do that thing you do from wherever you are. So that's from there, moving to helping my family, I said, you know what? I want to help everybody else. If I can do this for myself and I did this for my family, everybody's my family. And so that started a huge journey of learning meditation, becoming a monk, learning healing from the Tibetan side, the Chinese side. So my journey has been a very deep healing journey, which is funny because one of my favorite quotes that I learned here in camp as I'm taking healing classes is that healing is the gateway to mediumship. And I love that, because that's what a healer really is. He's a medium for that energy, the guidance that comes through. So here in camp specifically, we focus on spiritual healing. It's where we attune ourselves to spirit, God, infinite intelligence to receive the healing. And we have a prayer that we say every Sunday, which goes as, I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. That's the key. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God. And so we use this to connect to that source, to allow the healing to come through. And so in spiritualist healing, we have healing with spirit intervention and healing without spirit intervention. So within healing with spirit intervention, we have absent healing, which is my favorite, because a lot of times people need help and they won't admit it. They won't say, I kind of need a little bit of help. So my favorite part of absentee healing is that we don't have to have the person there with us. And my grandmother loves this because when I lived in California for 7 years, she would say, I'm so sad you're not here to do that thing you do when you put your hands on my back. And I'm like, I'm doing it right now. And she would later call and say, I could tell, I could feel. And then she would call my mom. She's like, is Geo doing that thing he does? Because I feel a warmth on my back. Or she would call and let me know that she smells cinnamon. Because I know blood pressure, cinnamon helps a lot with blood pressure. So I would use essential oils, kind of connect with her, and send that to her. So that for me started, again, giving me proof that there is a way to heal without the person being there. So the Spiritualist manual talks about absent healing, which is a curative power sent to someone at a distance. And the first, I kind of quoted this because the Spiritualist manual has a wealth of information that I love. I kind of use it as my quote-unquote Bible. But I like that they have steps in there about how the healer first cleanses their mind of doubt, the seed from which failure grows. I love that line. Because a lot of this healing does depend on what we believe, how we feel. Knowing that healing is a reality aids the healing in allowing healing power to flow through easily. The word impossible disappears from their vocabulary, and true love for the one in need is expressed. And I love that because I think the most powerful healing energy is that love. And it's funny because we talk about love and so forth, but it was actually just even a few weeks ago that I felt the most potent effects of love. We were doing a seance and we were able to help out with readings, and I was connecting with this lovely lady, and these people came through, and I felt this, it was like radiation, like a massive, like just my body radiated. I started sweating. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but my God, is this love? And you know that song, I Want to Know What Love Is? I definitely felt it. We all know love in some form, but that energy, I was like, wow, this is a force. And she came back the next Sunday and she had told me about the people that came through. And she said they were the most loving couple I ever felt. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I felt that energy. And so I feel that's the energy we're passing on as healers. So absentee, a lot of people ask, how does it work? Because the good thing about healing, spiritual healing, and science is that we're starting to come together. They're starting to show that there is a way to explain a lot of the spiritual healing. One way I like to explain it is interconnectedness. We're all one giant cosmic web. So the moment I think about someone and sending them that healing, that energy, I know it's going to get there because now even science is showing string theory, where everything is connected. Atoms are known to affect from any location. I can affect an atom from this point on the other side of the world. So it's very interesting that we have this connection with this infinite intelligence, this great cosmic spirit. And so the moment I put that healing thought out, it's going to ripple out. And they're doing more and more tests with biometric field studies, showing how when a person actually radiates love from their heart, sending it out, they can see through form. It's not like an X-ray. I forgot what it was called, but it's almost like they can see the wavelength of energy developing and going out. So when people say, well, is this spiritual stuff true? Is it real? I'm like, go on YouTube. You'd be surprised that all the advancements are showing in biometric fields. Then there's, of course, contact healing. And that's where we come with the person and we make physical contact with them. So the manual describes it as, with contact healing, the actual physical contact assists the healer transfer curative energy to the recipient. The healer's hands are placed upon the recipient's head, shoulders, or both, thus becoming a conduit through which this energy flows. The spiritual healer may be acting as a transformer of the spiritual energy to make it more readily observed by the recipient. So again, mediumship. We are receiving that information, that energy, and it goes through to our clients, to our family members, those that receive the healing. But my favorite part is when you keep reading through the book, they talk about spirit healing. And that's where it becomes interesting, because I always feel that a lot of the doctors in my family, when I do healing, they're coming through. There was one gentleman who was my grandfather's brother. He was very interesting, older gentleman. I mean, he practiced straight up to the end. He had the old-fashioned little doctor's bag, and when he would come visit, it was cool because he gave us candy. And he just had this aura about him. Even back then as a kid, I was like, wow, I kind of want to be like that guy. He just walked in and had this cool, like, radiance. And so whenever we do healing and we practice in class, I always sort of feel him beside me, kind of saying, I know a different form of healing now, and I want to guide you through it. So in the Spiritualist manual, it states that spiritual healing, with spirit healing, spirit doctors work directly upon the recipient to correct or relieve conditions. With this type of healing, the spirit entity or entities do not require the use of the healer's physical body, but are able to work directly upon the etheric or spirit body of a person in need. And I love that because it's like I know that doctors continue. Even once they pass from this life, they go into the next life, they keep guiding a whole generation of doctors. And I always recommend this, and I talk about this when I do tours here in camp. Watch the movie Always, because some people ask, how does it work? There's a great scene, it's with Richard Dreyfuss, and it was Audrey Hepburn's last film role, but it's a great example of how a person, when they go to spirit world, they return to guide others. In this case, Richard Dreyfuss helping a young pilot. So that's why I always say that I feel maybe not even just my grandfather's brother, but other physicians that kind of come through. They all know when it's time to come through and help. And then there's healing without spirit intervention. And these are just means that we use actual physical body, like magnetic healing or suggestive healing, where positive thoughts are implanted in the mind to serve as a catalyst to promote healing. And I feel like affirmative mantras, this is where, and my favorite one is, I am healed. And that's the most important, is I'm always saying to myself, I really don't like to say, I need healing, because it's almost admitting like I need something. I say, I am healed. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but those are just some of the basic forms that we learn here in Cassadaga. And I was saying the most important thing to remember is that healing is in the now. So whenever we do our prayers, it should be in the present moment. Ultimately, even scientists are saying there is only the now. Buddhists are very well known for I don't know if anybody knows, there's a clock that just says the word now. So when you look at it, what time is it now? Oh, really? Am I running late? No, you're just on time because you're there now. So that's something that I always like to remind myself and anyone I work with is, remembering that my thoughts, my prayers are in this present moment. And this works with the natural laws, which here in spiritualism we like to study the different laws that govern the universe, that govern our lives, healing, mediumship, and so forth. So when we look at the universal law of attraction, like attracts like, I'd rather send the message that I am healed right now. And most of you also would probably know the teachings of the I am presence, knowing that I am, anything that follows that I am is what you ultimately become. So I always like to start my morning with saying, I am grateful, I am healthy, and I am healing others. So I know even if I go into Walmart, which is kind of for me, just because I can feel everybody's energy at Walmart, it's like, okay, I'm sending, and honestly, that's my motivation, because I like to shop through apps, because it's a lot easier, and I don't have to kind of walk into the store. But when I do, I say, if I have to go in, maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's someone I'm going to pass by and set, some kind of healing energy. So before I walk in the store, I not only ground myself and shield myself, I try to generate energy to pass on to those who I, pass by. Because you never know. I know it affects their energy in some way. So the other saying is, as man thinketh, so shall he be. So one of the important things I always try to tell my grandmother when she calls, I'm not feeling well, I was like, just say, I am feeling well. Even just I'm telling you, I'm doing my thing. Just say to yourself, I am feeling well. And even she'll call and say, hey, my cough stopped. I feel better. I am feeling better. I'm like, exactly, because you set that emotion. You saying in the moment, I am feeling better. So it's not about healing in a distant future, but instead saying, I am healed now. And one of my family members, who is a doctor, was informing me that nurses are now using this form of positive affirmation with patients in hospitals when they're going through a surgery. I am coming out from the surgery. I am going to receive this. I am, which is great. I feel it's awesome that our medical system is now employing a lot of these spiritual techniques to let people know, hey, they're not saying, oh, you're going to be okay. You are okay. It's kind of seeing that future now in this moment. So I always like to say, when I say I am, I'm just saying it is. This is the way it will happen. So one of the things I did with the Spiritualist prayer, and I hope this is okay, because I like I said, I like to do things in the present. So I kind of made a few changes in the way I recite the healing prayer that we do, so that it shows that I've already received that energy. So instead of the one that we normally recite, I tweaked it a bit to say, I thank the great unseen healing force for removing all obstructions from my mind and body and restoring me to perfect health. I am thankful for this with all sincerity and honesty, and I will keep doing my part. I thank the great unseen healing force for helping both present and absent ones who are in need of help, and for restoring them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God. So I'm not saying I don't have it yet. I'm already saying I'm thankful for it. And honestly, the more you put that into practice and you start saying I am in the now, it changes your world again. Little aches and pains start to kind of disappear. You feel a lot better about yourself. And at the same time, when I'm saying with the regards to helping others, I'm already thanking that infinite intelligence for helping others. So it's like I've already included you in that. And I include all sentient beings in that prayer. So when I'm saying I'm already thanking the great unseen healing force for healing both present and absent ones. So my grandma will call, did you pray for me today? I'm like, honey, every day I'm already including you in there. I'm already thanking that you are healed. And she'll, okay, well, that's why I feel better today. I'm like, okay, good. I did a little something. So that goes for absent and present ones. I'm thanking for their healing now, that they're already healed and blessed. And the one thing is that once we receive healing and we're doing all this, we want to make sure that, again, we do our part and we keep it going. So I like to do a healing check, because a lot of healing is awareness, is turning the awareness from something negative to something positive. Because a lot of the reasons that we get stuck or we become ill is frustration, anger, which is why I watch TV, but I usually watch movies. I don't watch television, news. I do. Anyways, my mom is my source of news. She's my Google. She'll call and she'll say, oh my goodness, did you hear what happened in Miami? I'm like, oh, tell me what happened. And then I will do a prayer. But we have to be careful, because sometimes we get so inundated. And even having compassion doesn't mean having that sad moment. It's being uplifted to share. For me, compassion has always been uplifting and sharing, not sympathy, like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm happy, I'm sending you love, I'm sending you energy, I'm sending you empathy as opposed to sympathy. So when I get frustrated, I do my healing check. Whoop, turn around, I am happy. So I don't say to myself, I'm not frustrated, because I'm kind of admitting to myself I'm frustrated. Instead, I do the I am happy, I am fine, I am healed, I'm okay. And so this becomes a mindfulness training. And I talk a lot about mindfulness, because when people think of meditation, they think it's only just sitting in the chair or sitting. And for me, meditation is 24/7. It's keeping a check on the mind. You know, if I'm saying I'm healthy, I'm healed, I need to keep that going throughout the day. So I set the intention in the morning. I am healed. I am blessed. Everything's perfect. I need to keep that going. Is it perfect all the time? No. Like I said, sometimes there are things that happen, but that's where I do my healing check. It's kind of like a checks and balance, making sure that I keep that flow going, that healing continuously going. And that's what I always say. That's part of the prayer, and I will do my part. So I say that our healing and intelligence, the angels, our guides, it's all a partnership. It's not like, well, these guys in the background doing all the work. I'll just kind of do whatever I want on this side. No, it's a partnership. We work together in conjunction. So if I'm saying I'm healed, I have to keep that going, because they could be sending all the healing energy they want. But if I'm angry, upset at the world, and just screaming at everybody, it's keeping me going, but it's not doing what it should be doing. So patience, that's the patience and love. And it's hard, especially nowadays. Somebody will say something we don't agree with, or we hear somebody say something and we snap. So it's having that patience to say no. And ultimately, I've learned that everything that comes at me, I can choose and pick. Well, this doesn't serve. Okay, I'll just put it over here. We can be informed. We just don't need to be inundated with everything that's happening. And I also remind myself what's happening, the anger, the frustration, the confusion, it's really affecting me. If somebody says a comment to me and I let it affect me, it's affecting me. So I want to keep in mind, my check all the time. I'm healthy. I'm happy. No frustration here. And the other thing is, a lot of times when people come for healing, they think it's like aspirin. You take it, headache's gone. In reality, a lot of our healing takes time. So it's like the old saying, time heals all wounds. A lot of times people, and I saw this because I would go visit a lot of my family members who were doctors, and I would sit in because I did want to be a doctor. I was going to go to medical school, and this is when I was living in Chicago, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be Dr. Geo. Well, that's kind of cool. I'd rather be another kind of doctor, though. And everybody would just come in, well, how can I get this taken care of right now? Well, no, even we know if you break an arm, it needs time to heal. Well, no, I need to heal now. Which is why aspirin, they say, is like the number one selling item from any pharmacy. Headache. Well, I got to take a headache. But what's causing the headache? Why is this happening? So my favorite part of learning holistic medicine was why? Why is this? What's the root of this situation? So it takes time to heal. It takes patience to find out what is causing this situation. And even in spiritual healing, when you have to have the patience to sit and know through faith that what's happening is for your greater good. So there's no quick fix. There's no Band-Aid, really, ultimately. So it's working with our emotions, remind ourselves that, we got to stay positive no matter what in the world. And there's a story I always like to share because, when The Secret came out, everybody was practicing the law of attraction. That became like the new thing. The Secret's out, law of attraction, but there's a story in it that to this day really reminds me of exactly everything I'm saying here, is that she was a breast cancer patient who didn't go through the chemo, through all the medical processes. Instead, she focused on saying to herself, I am healed, I'm happy. And she would mention the fact that all she would do is watch positive movies, comedies, things that made her happy. And in the documentary, she talks about that she was healed from her cancer. But again, we want to be wise. We want to be here to help others. So doctors are important, but we have to do our part. And she did. She took it upon herself to say, I'm going to be positive every day. I'm going to remind myself that if I want to live and I want to survive, I need to make some changes. It's not just like I'm going to sit and wait for, the miracle will happen. The miracle happens as you have that patience, as you heal. And I always say that those are the real miracles. It's not something falls from the sky. It's the miracle of patience, the miracle of love. That's the true miracle of healing. Our diets, that's another thing. If a doctor tells you that you have to, take time for yourself, to eat better, to exercise, we got to do it. That's doing our part. Because again, all the healing energy in the universe won't make a dent in us if we're not taking time to actually do these different steps. So I always say I'm in perfect health. Whenever I eat, I try to think of my food as healing medicine. And so I combine all these different modalities to help myself become better so that I can always help others. And intention and motivation is the most powerful key to all of this, is intending to, my life is not just for me. I don't want to be healed just because I want to be here so I can go to Universal and Disney and do the things I want to do. It's because I know I have a purpose. I want to help others. I want to be here to share with others. And that makes our healing even more strong, more powerful, because it's no longer, well, I just want to heal. And I learned that step by step. First, it started with me, of course. I didn't want my tonsils out. As much as they kept telling me, oh, but you get ice cream. Great, I don't care. I want my tonsils still there. Then it went from, well, if I can do this for myself, well, I want it for my family. And then once I did it for my family, I realized I want to do this for everybody. So that's what I kind of wanted to share today. And I think we have some time. I'll do, maybe we can do a quick meditation. You have some music I can use, Mr. DJ? We'll do just a brief healing meditation to kind of get us going this morning. And we want to have everyone online join us as well. So just get comfortable, sit back. Come on in, man. You can come on in. Yeah, no worries. Come join in our healing, because the more we generate this healing together and with everyone online, it'll just ripple out, you know. And in your mind, always keep in memory any family member, situation, anything that needs healing. Also keep that in your mind as we start. So we'll start by taking 3 breaths, and we'll start with our first one, just deep inhalation, really expanding the diaphragm, exhaling slowly. Another deep breath, really opening up the tummy, taking all that air and oxygen, and slowly releasing it. And one more deep breath, opening up our mind, hearts, and slowly releasing it. And let's just let the mind settle, just let it relax. Our mind can be like an ocean. It could be very calm and peaceful, or it could be like a storm. And right now, we just want to let it settle. Let all those thoughts in the mind just kind of pass by. And as we breathe, we just kind of focus our attention, our awareness and being here in Cassadaga, taking in all the spiritual energy that's here. And let us set our intention to be thankful for all the healing energy we're about to receive and always receive. And just keep relaxing, feeling all the muscles just becoming untense. It's like you're slowly melting into your chair. And now just visualize a golden ray of light emerging right above your head. And just see it for a moment. And if you can't, that's okay. Just follow my voice and know that there's a golden ray of light over your head. And then this light seems to pour down into our bodies, inside and out. This beautiful, warm, healing light. It's like we're bathing in this light. It's going through every pore, going within, reaching every cell, every fiber, the tissue of our body. And as we feel this energy, our mind connects to the infinite. We just feel this divine oneness, just this pure healing light. And you can say to yourself, I am harmony. I am love. I am healthy. It's like every cell is like a brilliant sun. We're just basking in this beautiful healing light. We let all our worries and doubts just clear away. And we come to recognize that this healing light is always there. It's always been there. And all we need to do is remind ourselves at any point in our day that this light is always right above us, fueling us, healing us, gifting us the power of love. And so we'll take a Another moment here to feel that energy. And we can see that right in our heart center, this light starts to build up and it really just ripples out to all of humanity, throughout all of space and time without any barriers. And we are sharing this healing energy with all those in need. We share it with our planet. And it just continues to ripple out into the infinite. And now slowly we just allow this golden ray of light to dissolve back up into the ether. And we'll take one more deep breath. Inhaling all this positive energy and slowly exhaling. And we'll start to come back. This moment being here in the Andrew Jackson Davis building, healed and energized. And when you feel ready, just wiggle your toes, your hands. You can kind of do a little shake, which I like to do. It's kind of like, letting that energy trickle down. Oh, actually, that felt really good. I actually got a little teary-eyed there for a moment. That's the effect that the energy can have. Even as you're receiving, you just feel, you can come on in. No worries. Come join us. You got some of that energy, trust me. It was going out there. Alrighty. And just to end for our today's Lyceum, I just wanted to do a quick prayer. I thank the great unseen healing force for this healing and for allowing me to be here to share this energy with all of you online. And may we continue to share this energy with all those in need. And again, I'm honored to have been able to come and do a Lyceum talk today. And thank you all for letting me share with you. Thank you, and thank you all online.
Thank you, Geo. That was a lot of information, and we appreciate it. At this time, I'd like to remind everyone that our church service starts at 10:30. We ask you to stay and join us, along with those that are online. And so, thank you so much for attending today.